What do you think of the whole? I know you wrote a book on it, basically, but on like this whole NPC phenomenon. Do you think that a portion of people in this plane are literal NPCs, or is it like figurative? Because
Oh,
it
see, here's the
seems like it
thing.
is.
Right. hmm Yeah, and so I'm not the only source that has said it. And the whole NPC phenomenon, that's a more recent cultural phenomenon. But even the Gnostics 2,000 years ago said the same thing. They called certain people hylics as opposed to psychics or pneumatics. So they divided the human population into three different levels. You got the ones at the very bottom who are just material oriented, and like Hinduism has the same thing. They've got a whole term for people that are strictly 100% 3D material oriented. They're almost like animalistic in nature. You have that, and you can interpret the Old Testament in certain ways, like with pre-Adamic humans to Boris Moraviev. He wrote the three Gnosis books. In those three books, he talks about what are essentially pre-Adamic humans, who are humans who have a soul, but they don't have a higher God spark or a higher spirit. And that's pretty much how the Gnostics define them as well. Uh, it's a recurring theme. I mean, Rudolf Steiner said it, Gurdjieff in his own way said it, John Baines said it. So it's one of those mystery school truths or one of those esoteric principles that has always been around. People have always noticed it, but you don't want to popularize that idea because if it gets too popular, then too many people get too witch hunty about it. It can turn into a witch hunt where you don't know who's who and you get paranoid and you start burning people at the stake because you think they're NPCs when they're actually not, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, but the fact that that theory can be misused like that doesn't disprove it wrong. It doesn't disprove the fact that it might actually be that you can have people who are driven by something other than a higher divine spirit. I mean,
Yeah.
sure, everything is consciousness. Even a rock has divine energy to a degree, but not in a functional expression. It doesn't have a God spark that decides its actions for it. A rock just sits there, it gets kicked around, it gets crushed, gets weathered by the rain and the wind. Unlike a human being who has free will and agency, ideally, who can choose to do good, who can
Yeah.
choose to fight good, who can choose to turn the environment around and make something better of Earth. And so, why is it that some people have that and other people have the opposite? Other people have almost like a demonic impulse to
Yeah.
destroy other people's lives and their own lives and the earth and the environment and animals and whatever. Is it just because they were traumatized and abused? And I would say in some cases, well, maybe, but I think there are also cases where even as kids, there's something really wrong with them,
Yeah.
something empty, demonic, or just they got nothing higher in them. And I've known certain people in my life, personal life, who they never once showed any trait of having spirit whatsoever. No symbolic
Yeah.
dreams, no synchronicities, no creativity, no interest in anything higher other than being a sociopathic manipulator.
Yeah.